Hello everybody, this is AG here and welcome to the Richmond Raceway here in Richmond, Virginia. Hey, we're in a market of Wawa still, so we got you there for the Wawa Sprint Series here tonight. And we only got ourselves 6 races left to go here until we crown a champion in both the Wawa Sprint Series and the Wawa Cup Series. And this is the last short track of the season. So those ratings forms are not going to have the short track rating anymore for those of you who are signing up or doing your ratings in the Wawa Cup Series. But these drivers do not, only the owners do, and it's definitely come into play, no doubt about it. A very interesting battle, especially after last week at Pocono, when our points leader Sam Oskin fell back and did not have a good finish at Pocono. Also got the slowest time of all the drivers in the chase. He starts 10th here today. But we got 25 laps here at Richmond. It's going to be over very quickly. I'm joined alongside Andrew Miller for the call of tonight's event. And Andrew, it's going to get a little tight, especially if these guys finish relative to where they start. With Oskim there, our points leader, starting 10th. Do you think we're going to have a new points leader at the end of the day here at Richmond?
I think it's very possible. Richmond is kind of one of the trickier tracks to pass on. So I think if there is going to be much movement amongst the field, it's not going to be by a significant margin. So if we aren't going to see a new points leader, we are at the very least going to see that championship battle come down to almost neck and neck here, I would say. And that is just going to make it even more exciting for the final 5 races that will follow this one.
No
it is going to be exciting.
It.
I'm glad to be here for this one.
Yeah, good to have you. This is, what was it, 2 weeks ago we did a race? Hey, you're my best friend, so we got to have you in here. Anyways, enough about that. Avery Alford, though, starts on the pole. Sam Oskin's teammate, and it's very possible we could have the 2 Appalachian Motorsports cars end up battling for this championship, which is exactly what Caleb Rose wants to see over here. Of course, he just took the owner's championship lead with his 2 cars, and we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. But Skylar Taylor, they are 13 points behind. And they have done an excellent job on the short tracks this season, on the true short tracks, I should say. They've actually swept both Bristol and Martinsville, and then ended up winning at North Wilkesboro later on as well. But that's their only 3 wins of the season so far, so we'll have to see what they can do. They're 13 behind. Avery Alford is 15 points behind, and you got Jim Vincent left there, 24 points behind. Trey Bartow, 28 points behind. He's still hanging in there. Great run for Benny Moore last week. He's 35 behind. You got Cole Raymond, 43 behind. Philip Torres, 45 behind. Joe Rutkowski, 49 behind. And then Bruno Diacomo there, 60 points behind, coming into this one. Of course, like I mentioned, Avery Alford starting on the pole position here tonight, alongside Benny Moore there in the number 96. They make up the front row. You got Trey Bartow and Jim Vincent left in row at number 2. Cole Raymond and Philip Torres make up row number 3, and then Skylar Taylor. They have won on every track shorter than 3/4 of a mile this season. Will they get a 4th one here today? Very good opportunity starting in 7th. Bruno Diacomo alongside them, and you got Joe Rutkowski and Sam Oskin, the biggest surprise there, in the 10th starting position. Then the drivers who signed up, Riley Snell is back in the number 4 alongside Angel Gutierrez. Chad Gronkowski in the 33 alongside the 78 machine of Angel Olvera. Got the 40 machine there of Cameron Lassard and the 02 of Dale Johnson the second. 01 there is Roy Ribbleton, the 60 machine of Jason Lona. And you got the 7 of Keith Drake and the 05 in 20th position again. Will Parrish once again right there at the back of the field. We'll go ahead and get these guys to roll off. And Andrew, of course, all the strong drivers starting up front as always. Who do you think is going to get it done here this 3/4 of a mile in the capital city?
Well, I'm definitely going to favor the inside lane, and I'm going to favor that number 80, Trey Bartow. Nathan Stapleton, of course, a strong team owner, and Bartow, a strong driver, well familiar in this side of the NR community. I think that he's going to pull this one out.
That's the 2nd straight week. The co-commentators picked Trey Bartow. Troxel did so last week, couldn't quite get the win, but managed to make it on to the Cup race. We'll have to see if he can do so again, and a win here today could give him an opportunity at the Sprint Series title. Here we go, pace car down the pit lane. Avery Alford going to lead us to the green flag, and we're underway in the capital city. And a really, really good jump out of Alford there on the start. And Alfred looking to go 2 in a row here in the Wawa Sprint Series and close in on his teammate Sam Oskin. You got Bartow there trying to take second away from his teammate of Benny Moore, and then Cole Raymond there looking to take third, but how about that? He's out of here in the 74 machine.
Golly, what's that? Almost 3/4 of a second after the first lap. Now this is where he's got to just think, all right, let's just try to maintain this gap. Don't have to do anything crazy. You know, it's only 25 laps, but you still want to at least have a little bit at the end. I sound like a broken record probably whenever I commentate these races. I almost always say that, but that's because it's true. Mm-hmm. You can't burn up your stuff, and the next thing you know, you'll end up like what happened with Joe Rutkowski at New Hampshire.
Exactly, and Joe Rutkowski trying to rebound from that. Not the best of runs this season for Rutkowski since he got in the 77 machine. He was driving a lot for Appalachian Motorsports during the regular season, and Avery Alford went in and took that 74. Was ahead of him in the point standings, and look at what Alford has been able to do with it as well. And the way they currently run, I do believe Avery Alford would at least be tied with Sam Oskin. Might not actually have the points lead right now, as Oskin's still mired back in the field here in the 75, down to 11th, looking to take 10th away from Rutkowski. Good run for Chad Gronkowski in the 33 there. And there's a mess back here. A lot of guys, actually Bruno Diacomo falling back, one of the chase drivers there for Cash Motorsports. His team has struggled this season, and Diacomo falling back there. We're going to go back to the race lead. How about Trey Bartow? Closed right in on Alford there. But he went a little wide off the entrance of Turn 3, and Cole Raymond looking to get his first win of the season here. He might have an opportunity at doing so here today at Richmond.
Cole Raymond has definitely been making a name for himself here in the offline side of things, and it's been really cool to see, of course, driving for the new TRN, I guess you could say, or TRR in this case.
Yeah, Trinity River Racing there.
Shout out to Josh Williamson. But yep, starting to get a little strung out here at the front of the field. We'll see if they're all just kind of saving their stuff here for that final little dash. But yeah, already on lap 7. This thing's going to be a quick one.
As it always is. Hey, next year, do plan on extending the length of the races in the Wawa Sprint Series, and maybe moving over to the Xfinity Series mod as well. Still some things to be decided with what this is going to look like next year, but I got some ideas. Let's just put it that way. Trey Bartow, he's got some ideas. He's trying to formulate some ideas to get around the 74 of Avery Alford, and Bartow only one win on the season here in the Wawa Sprint Series. They came in the longest race of the season at Charlotte. This race is exactly half the length mileage-wise, and Bartow does not have much time to find a way around the 74. Meanwhile, Skylar Taylor, they are closing in here in the 45 machine, and like we have mentioned, they have done an excellent job on the short tracks this season, winning all the true short tracks. But, they almost got that win at New Hampshire before Oskin came through and took it away from him. But right now in the 4th position there for Taylor. Benny Moore is 5th. Riley Snell, guy who signed up, only 2nd career start on the channel, up to the 6th position. You got Oskin there in 7th. Chad Gronkowski in 8th. Angel Gutierrez, and not a good run for Vincent left as he won the first race of the chase. Kind of fallen off since then. These guys, this is a difficult place to make a pass, very similar to New Hampshire. I think we're going to see some passes made on Saturday in the Norfolk Southern 400 for the Wawa Cup Series, but we could see Alford go flag to flag here in this 25-lapper.
Yeah, whenever that 80 gets a little closer to him, something just kind of goes away from that car and he drops right back. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough task there for Bartow to try to get around him. But if he does, that would be massive for him to have any reasonable chance at the championship fight here.
No doubt about it. Coming into this race, 28 points behind, and that's behind this guy right here, Sam Oskin, who's now in 7th. So the way things currently run, he would still remain the points leader, but still not a good run, all things considered. You really got to finish well up front in these races if you want to have a shot at the championship, because all the chase drivers start in the top 10 positions, and I would imagine each of these 10 races in the chase are going to be won by a championship-eligible driver, as Cole Raymond. Whoa, what happened there? Way up the racetrack, and that's going to open the door for Skylar Taylor to possibly take 3rd away. Not entirely sure what happened there with the entry. Got Riley Snell here for 5th, trying to make it into the Cup race on Saturday. He's got an opportunity of doing that in that 4 machine. Meanwhile, Avery Alford pulling away here from Trey Bartow as it's 11 laps to go here at Richmond.
We said just a quick one here. But man, would Taylor love to be able to pass for 3rd place here. Try to gain every point that Skyler can to try to gain on Samet Ozkin. 13 back, as you said. Ozkin looking pretty good to retain that point lead, barring something ridiculous. But definitely not going to be the most comfortable unless maybe he gains another spot or 2, which is looking kind of unlikely at this point.
In the 74 of Avery Alford, looking to get his 3rd win of the season. Got the win at Gateway back in June. That was his 1st win. And then finally won again last week at Pocono. And en route to his 3rd win of the season. Great run for Bartow nonetheless, and he is going to close in on Ozkin there. And will still be within a race win's worth of points of Avery Alford. Now, just like it is in the Wawa Cup Series, the last few races are going to be huge wild cards, and particularly Watkins Glen and Daytona. And that Daytona race is going to really be interesting because anyone can win that. It's only going to be 10 laps for these guys, but we're going to have to see how that ends up affecting the title race once we get to that point. We could easily have someone clinch it by the time we get to that point. But right now, that points lead is going to end up getting smaller here after this one. And Bartow trying to close back in on the 74. And he gained 2/10 that last lap.
Yeah, but he's got quite a ways to go in order to catch the leader of Alford, but then trying to actually make that move. As we saw, as soon as Bartow got close, dropped way, way back. I don't think it's looking pretty good for anybody except the 74 at this point in time.
And he lost 3/10 that lap, so Alford just kind of overshot it right there a little bit. We saw Cole Raymond do that earlier, but he was able to keep himself into that 3rd position. Skylar Taylor holding on to 4th. And Riley Snell trying to close in here as he got Ozkin looking to gain a couple of positions, trying to get as many points as he can here before this race closes out. It's 5 laps to go. If we were to get a caution, it would be the end of the race since we are on a short track, a 4-lap caution period. Ozkin unable to get around this 96, and this is something we're going to see on Saturday as well. We're going to get to a point where it's just difficult to make a pass, but we're going to have twice as many cars on the racetrack on Saturday, and it could definitely get interesting considering the nature of the races that we have seen in the Cup Series as of late. We're going to see here if Taylor gets a position on Cole Raymond, but everyone kind of keeping it clean in their respective positions right now. And it's a 2nd lead now for Avery Alford as he's got 3 laps to go here at Richmond.
Let's bring it on home. That's what all that 74 can do, just bring it on home and keep it smooth. That gap has not changed whatsoever, still about a 2nd. But as you said, though, with double the cars and probably a little more antsiness and a longer race and the pit stops, that is going to be a far more, I would say, interesting and crazy race than what we're seeing here. Everybody just kind of minding their P's and Q's and getting a little spread out. But hey, that's Richmond.
And that's why we're going to extend the length of some of these races next year, make it a little more interesting. Because I don't really get much action in a 25-lap race on the short track. I don't know. Actually, we did have a pass at Bristol. I do remember that. Oh, Ozkin under fire here from Angel Gutierrez. It's the white flag here at Richmond for Avery Alford. And still a 2nd lead there unless something drastic happens. Which we're not going to see him peek down to the pit lane because these guys don't need fuel. Alford again, 2nd straight win here in the Wawa Sprint Series and the 9th win of the season for Appalachia Motorsports. Trey Bartow, Cole Raymond, and Skylar Taylor will all be in the Norfolk Southern 400 on Saturday. Oh, Ozkin blew up in the 75, but still managed to finish 7th. Oh boy, and it's going to get tight here in this title race between Alford and Ozkin, no doubt about it. And even Taylor's they're still going to have their foot in the race as well. Once again, Avery Alford with the fastest time. However, Ozkin was definitely quick back in there. And he is going to start 2nd at Michigan next week. That's going to be a fascinating one there around that high-speed 2-mile oval. But Alfred will lead him to the green flag alongside Sam Manowskin, Cole Raymond, and Trey Bartow will be row at number 2. We got Benny Moore will be starting 5th alongside Skylar Taylor. Then we got ourselves the 85 of Philip Torres, the 07 of Jim Vincent left, the 77 of Joe Rutkowski, and then Bruno Diacomo there in the 00 will start in the 10th position from Michigan. I wouldn't say this was a preview of what we're going to see on Saturday, because I think Saturday's race, especially with the dynamic of the driver ratings, is going to be much, much different than what we saw here at Richmond. But last short track of the season, how do you think it's going to play out here in the Sprint Series going on to the finish?
Well, it definitely got a little bit closer. You got Skylar Taylor gaining some points on Oscar, but Alfred with that win. Those three are going to be so on top of each other at this point that this final stretch of races is going to be an absolute dogfight. And I think when we go to Michigan, it's especially going to show, because that is going to be a very, very racy racetrack. So guys can make moves pretty much anywhere, and I think that's going to show. And I'm excited to see it. And with any luck, maybe I'll be able to join you up here again for that one.
Maybe. I know a lot of y'all like to call these races though with me, but that's why I want to get some longer races, because if you're in the IndyCar series and you're in the Cup series, all you can do is the Sprint series, and it's not enough to it, But hey, Avery Alford does not mind that. 3rd win of the season for him. And like I said, we're heading to Michigan next week. That's going to be a lot of fun. Well, starting lineup for the Norfolk Southern 400 there on the left-hand, or the right-hand side of your screen, excuse me. That could be interesting. Who knows where Drew Webb's starting? Well, right now, but I don't in my current moment. And, even though Drew Webb won last week, it's still, if Drew Webb makes one more mistake and has one more bad race, it's wide open again. And there's still 6 races left to go in the Wawa Cup Series chase, so it's going to be a lot of fun on Saturday for the Norfolk Southern 400, noon Eastern Time, July 29th, right here on AG, the channel. Congratulations to Avery Alford. We got signups for Michigan coming up here in probably about 10 minutes, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And here are the points for the Sprint Series after 25 races. Only 5 more to go until we crown a champion Labor Day weekend. On behalf of Andrew Miller, congratulations to Avery Alford once again, and I will see you guys later.